Okay, so um, it's really late and it's somewhat short notice for this. I was trying to wait until everyone who went to the play might be getting home from the play. And so that's what I was hoping to do with the live stream tonight, is give those people an opportunity to, especially our actors who are probably still at school, give them the opportunity to get home so that they can see the video as well. Can you hear me okay? Any of you? Yes or no? I'm not sure if you can. I'm trying to see. All right. All right. So, yeah, Mr. Dolman texted me about 30 minutes ago that he had gotten home from the play. So anyone who went hopefully is home by now. If you're in it, probably not, but the rest of you probably are. Now, I was hoping to make this short and sweet because the unit isn't, to be honest, all that long. And so my thoughts were that there wouldn't be that much to cover, hopefully, I hope, in that. So I'm going back and forth between tabs right now. Because I was going to open up the test in a different tab so that way I could kind of see just broad topics that you need to make sure you know or understand. So I'm looking at hoping my computer loads for the test. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Okay, so Unit 5 test, open. Okay. Now, a few people had asked me to make, I'm sorry if I'm not understandable. I'm tired. So, okay. A few people had asked me to make the test longer this chapter because the previous chapter, it was somewhat short, and that meant every question carried more weight because the questions had more points. So this unit, I decided I did in fact make the test longer. The test is now 22 questions, okay? The test is The test is 22 questions, 21 multiple choice questions, 1 FRQ that equals 5 points total. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for the actual exam. Now, that being said, loading. Oh, it's loading. Okay. All right. So, oh, they're perfect. Okay. The stuff you have to know, basically, I mean, you have to know the equations and you have to know the graphs. The thing I would point to the most for both of those is the practice question, the packet that I handed out to each of you, and I told you to write your name on, because the math that you practice and the graphs that you draw within that packet are going to help you considerably. Now, I will let you know that for tomorrow's test, you are not drawing any graphs. Instead, you are going to be looking at graphs and identifying things. So hopefully that's a little bit of a relief. You will have to do math. You will not be allowed to use a calculator. So you have to make sure you know how to do the math without using a calculator. You need to know least cost combination and profit maximization. You need to know both of those for both a perfectly competitive firm and a monopsonistic market. So both of those markets are very important. And let me see if I can find for you history. I think I might try to, no, that's not what I wanted. I'm looking at a different page. I'm trying to find a formula sheet that you might be interested in. A micro formula sheet. Here we go. Because if I post that, then maybe that would be a little bit helpful, because you can just look at the down and dirty formulas. You have to know these fundamental concepts and these fundamental formulas. Okay, so this is the website. I don't know if this will work as a link. I'm going to hope, maybe. I'm going to post it over here in the comment box for you. I'm going to hope and hope that this will open. While I'm waiting on my computer to see if that opens, that is a link to a formula chart that you need to know for AP Micro. The important part of that chart, though, is that this unit is labeled Unit 4 because it's from prior to the redesign where they renumbered the units. Because the test tomorrow is Unit 5, we're looking at factor markets. But on this formula chart that just loaded, it's labeled Unit 4 resource markets. But there you have the basic formulas you absolutely must know. And if you know those formulas and you can apply those formulas, you shouldn't have any problems. All right. There's not many of you that are watching. Do any of you guys have specific questions? I'm just waiting on questions. The video stream is blocked on Google Classroom. BP, the video is blocked on Google Classroom. Which video? This one? I mean, I guess I have to open Google Classroom to find out why. Yes. Okay, so I need to use my personal. I do not know why, but I mean, I'm gonna let you know that YouTube is going through an entire redesign right now, and I've gotten a ton of alerts that I have to change a bunch of settings in my on my account. And additionally, I have to actually go through and move all my old videos to my personal account because I can't store them on my school account anymore. So I don't know what or why, but that, I mean, it sucks. I can't really do much about that. But Google, yes, okay. They sent an email. So our school Google account is now blocking YouTube for students because of something. changed policies or whatnot, but I am working on that, but I have to work with administration and the district to find out why. What are the main things on the test other than formulas that we have to remember? Definitions of vocab words, like the definition of economic rent or the definition of derived demand, what those things mean and why they are important. The definition of MRP, the definition of MRC or MFC, the definition of marginal product of labor. So definitions, there's a lot of definitions. And then when you look at a graph, can you find the things? Do you know the profit maximization rule? It should be tattooed across your forehead, and how to apply that, that kind of stuff. Hold on, I hope this doesn't make a funny noise. Hold on, I hope this doesn't make a funny noise. Hold on, I hope this doesn't make a funny noise. It's funny. Okay. All right, it's funny. Okay. All right, it's funny. Okay. I was just checking to see if I could open it from Google Classroom on my phone, which it could. But I was logged in with not a school account, so I was able to access it that way. I was just checking, and I could. Okay. I need to open a personal YouTube account. Okay. So what are the main things besides definitions and formulas? It's looking at and interpreting graphs. Now for the actual AP exam in May, you need to know how to draw the graphs. But like I said, the test tomorrow, no drawing graphs. Everything is going to be typed, including the FRQ. I chose an FRQ that you wouldn't have to handwrite. You could just type the answer to. Okay. Monopsony and minimum wage. Yes, I can. But my question for you is, do you want me to go over monopsony and minimum wage, or monopsony with a minimum wage? So just clarify for me which one you're wanting me to talk about. Like when you have a monopsony and a minimum wage is set, or a monopsony on its own and minimum wage on its own. So tell me what we're talking about. An economic rent, and I've seen it come up a lot. Yes. Okay. So Saad, I'm waiting for your answer first, and then I'll go on. I don't know which one you want. Both on its own. Okay. So a monopsony is like a monopoly, but in the factor market or resource market. So a monopsony happens when you have a single employer who is the primary hirer of labor in the market. And that means that they are going to be the primary employer. So I equate this to anytime you have like a small town and one primary factory or something in that town, it's going to happen. But I always tell my students, like, fictionally think about the Hunger Games. And if you lived in District 12 in the Hunger Games, you worked at the coal mine. Hi, Jamie. So when you had that situation, everyone in District 12 would work at the coal mine. And that was because that was the primary provider of employment. So they had their supply curve of labor, all those workers in the mines. But there were those few people that didn't work in the mines, the few people that had other jobs, like the baker, like Peeta's family. Now, if the coal mine had employed all the labor and wanted to hire more workers, they were going to have to incentivize those bakers to get out of the bakery and go work in the coal mines, because obviously they didn't want to do it. And they do that by raising the wage rate. They have to pay those people more money to get them out of the bakery and over to the mines, because it's dangerous and dirty. And then if they are going to pay those people more, they're going to have to pay everyone more, because the rest of the workers are not going to continue to show up knowing that the baker is making more money than they are to do the same job. So that's a monopsony. Minimum wage on its own is government interference in the factor market. Just like if we had a price ceiling or a price floor in the product market, we have minimum wage in the factor market. And minimum wage is a minimum price control set, usually above the equilibrium price, all right, to hold wages higher than normally would be paid. When key information, when minimum wage is implemented, the supply curve for labor, the MFC, the marginal factor cost, or MRC, marginal resource cost of labor, becomes a horizontal line at the minimum wage. It becomes perfectly elastic at that minimum wage line. So that means it will change your MRP equals MRC and the quantity of labor to that location, wherever minimum wage is set and the intersection point is found, because your MRC of labor goes from being an upward sloping curve to a perfectly horizontal line. That may be an answer to the FRQ tomorrow, just so you know. Just so you know. All right. Let me know, Saad, if that answered your questions. And if I didn't answer your questions, tell me which I didn't answer so that I can make sure I make it clear. Okay. It's amazing. Like 5 new people have signed on in the last 5 minutes. All of you guys are coming out. The musical just ended. No, it didn't, Jamie. It ended 30 minutes ago. Dolman texted me when he got out. All right. Oh, well, you just got home. That makes sense. Okay. All of you guys going out after the musical. So, okay. Yes, that answered it perfectly. I went back to some of your. Okay. All right. No worries. Just for the 10 of you that are watching, because only 10 of my 98 students are on right now, just so you know, the impact of minimum wage is an FRQ question tomorrow. So you have to explain that minimum wage causes your MRC curve to become perfectly elastic at that point. Horizontal. Okay. So now we're going to talk about economic rent. I don't know who you are, officer. It makes it king though, right? King. No. Okay. So the first question that came up was economic rent. And economic rent is how much it costs to bring a factory production into its present use. Okay. So, oh, hi, Jan. How come you always have really weird names, like on YouTube? Like, I don't think this was your name in a previous video. Maybe you changed it. Okay. My contacts are killing me, so only on my right eye now. Contact lenses. No bueno. Zigzag. Okay. So the economic rent is the difference in value of employing a resource for what it's being used for and its next best use. So, for example, I am a teacher. No, that's not a good example because I'm underpaid. Underpaid. Let's say, let's say that you have a professional athlete and they're making $1 million a year to be a professional athlete. But if they were not a professional athlete and they did a different job for which they were qualified, which is only going to pay them $100,000 a year, you have that economic rent. that's going to bring them up to their current pay rate. All right. So it's the cost of bringing them up to that point. That's their economic rent. So it's just the difference in value of using that resource for its present use versus what else it could be doing. Similar to the idea of opportunity cost. Okay. Jamie, a zigzag? I've never seen minimum wage drawn as a zigzag. I'll Google search and see if, so I just Google searched a minimum wage graph, Jamie, and I can't find a zigzag graph. It was from video 12. Okay. It goes horizontal to the SL curve. Is SL supply? And then up to the MRC and follows that. Okay. I'm trying to imagine what you're drawing. Okay. So you're taking minimum wage and you're drawing it horizontal until it hits supply, because that's the that'll determine your quantity, right? Because, well, all right, I have to pull up that video then, because when you institute a minimum wage, you're totally changing your MRC curve. Your MRC curve and your supply curve become your minimum wage line. So they all become equal. And that's why your new MRC equals MRP will be where S intersects MRP or D, because that's going to be where they're all found. All right. So while I'm getting that open on a different tab, do you need to know the minimum wage in a monopsonistic and a competitive market? Minimum wage, it doesn't really matter what market it's in, because it's going to be a horizontal line regardless of the market. In a competitive market, supply equals MRC is already horizontal. It's already that way. So the only thing you're really comparing is if minimum wage is above, equal to, or below that line. If it's below that line, it's irrelevant. If it's equal to, it's kind of irrelevant. If it's above, that's when it matters. In a monopsony, all it's doing is taking over the supply curve and changing your supply curve from what it originally was to a horizontal line, and using that to determine the new wage rate, obviously, but also quantity of labor demanded. I'm trying to get this to load, and I'm sorry, my computer's really slow. Okay. The market for land and capital. Market, not necessarily. You do need to know least cost and profit maximization. You need to know the marginal product of labor equals to the marginal product of capital equals to 1. Marginal product of labor divided by the price of labor equals the marginal product of capital divided by the price of capital equals 1 is profit maximization. And marginal product of labor divided by marginal cost of labor equals marginal product of capital divided by marginal price of capital is least cost combination. Those formulas are both found on that formula sheet I linked at the top of the comment box earlier on. Okay, why is this so slow? Darn it. I'm trying, you guys, to get my computer to load, Jamie, so I can see the actual graph that you're talking about. And it's really slow. I keep going back and forth between tabs, and I cannot get this to do what I want to. I'm very frustrated. I apologize. All right. Okay. So, Jamie, video 12, I think, is the one you said. I'm getting this to load on my computer. I really should have just put this on my phone. It probably would have been faster. We don't sleep anyway. It's okay. LOL at you. I kind of sometimes sleep. Sometimes. I mean, about halfway in on the graph in black, he'll trace it. Okay. I'm going to look it up. It's spinning on my screen. Well, my screen's all white and the little box is spinning. Okay. Video number 12. All right. Minimum wage in a monopsony. And I'm just hoping that the sound doesn't start like blaring at you guys. I'm totally not trying to mess you guys up. I sometimes sleep, yawn, sometimes. It's almost 11 on a school night, and I have to work in the morning. And when we finish this, I'll get my lesson ready for first hour. So that's fine. Okay. Skip ad. Jamie, I adore you so much. I'm going through this much effort to kind of answer your question so I can see. Okay. So I'm watching this with no sound. So minimum wage is $10. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's where MRP equals MRC. Mm-hmm. Jamie, in video 12 that you were talking about from the playlist, I'm at 3 minutes and 59 seconds, where he set the minimum wage rate at $10, told you MRP equals MRC at 6 units. Now he's graphing it up to tell you that we have now found, give me a second. The new MRC. So yeah, so after that point, dear, after that equilibrium point, it's going to go up and it's following the MRC curve because we are not going to continue to supply beyond what is demanded. So I'm just trying to get this to load. Now, obviously, he pointed out in the video, I'm still scrolling through very fast. I'm at 540 now. that because we're allocatively efficient, deadweight loss was eliminated. MRP equals MRC. And all right. Okay. All right. Okay, so Jamie, that's why I have Red Bull. Oh, I have Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay. So Jamie, all he was saying is that after you reach that equilibrium point, you're going to go up to the MRC curve. So you, okay, now you ask a different question. No, I'm too tired for that. So now all he's showing you is the elimination of dead weight loss in the market and following the market graph. That's all he's showing you. Okay. All right. I'm hoping that made some sense. I'm hoping. Okay. I'm sorry that I had to go to the video to figure out what you were asking me. Substitution and income effect, not so much in the graph perspective or the mathematical perspective. You do need to know the shifters. I mean, it goes back to like Rotten and Tribe. What shifts demand? What shifts supply? We did this back in Unit 2. So at this point, I do expect this to be kind of basic, but you do need to know those things. There's those. Okay. Hi, Roberto. Okay. So since I'm going to close that, so maybe my computer will run faster. Since you guys are here, oh, have any of you guys heard? Do you have any friends that know? This is totally irrelevant. The rumor going around through the teachers is that the students are pushing for a whiteout tomorrow for the students and for the football game. Has anyone heard that? Yes. Okay. Do we know who's pushing for the whiteout? That's my next question. So no one knows who's pushing it? Okay. Because if the students were not aware, the football team and the cheerleaders are all wearing all black. So we're supposed to have a blackout, not a whiteout, to match the team and match the cheerleaders. Are any of my cheerleaders or football players on here right now that can tell me their uniform color tomorrow? Any of you? No one's a cheerleader or a football player? All right. I'm not completely sure, but I think cheer is wearing white shirts. Okay. Because white, you just, for the non-athletes watching, white means away team. Black means home team. Just so you know. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip over here. I'm only gonna do a few more minutes because it's already really late and I wanna get ready for bed soon. But I'm looking at the test. Now, the question order is scrambled for every class when you open up the test. So the order that I go through these questions will not necessarily be the order that they are when you take the test. Can Alexis told me to ask if the test is partners. It is not. It is not. First quarter, you guys had crutches, either notebook or partner or table. But this quarter is going to be a little more difficult because you need to prepare. Yeah, sad face. Yeah, that's fine. Y'all sad face all you want. However, the AP exam in May that I want everyone to pass is not partners. It is all by yourself. So you do need to be prepared to do things all by yourself. Uh, okay. So, Brian, changes to labor supply. If you're talking about the supply curve for labor, it's going to shift if you have a change in your population, right? Did you get more people or do you have fewer people? That's what shifts supply. All right. Can we have 2 days? No, you cannot have 2 days. No, the test is tomorrow. It is only tomorrow. It is only 22 questions, which should take you no more than 45 minutes. No more. You are just fine. You guys are ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I'm not that nice. 22, I know. Crazy. Crazy. But you'll do fine. Okay. So we are slow. No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't get slow kids. They don't put them in my classroom. So that can't be true. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys look. Okay. So the lighting is really bad because it's late. But do you see this? Totally irrelevant, not related at all to economics. Do you see this shelf right here? That's my Harry Potter bookshelf. Those are all my Harry Potter books right there. So I just noticed. It's fun. Okay. Second period is not slow. Oh, another fun fact. I'm going to go through the topics in a second, but another fun fact. This is my husband's shelf over here, right here, this shelf. Those are all books on football coaching and strategy, that whole shelf. Football coaching and strategy, Harry Potter. Just so we know the important things. All right. Totally forgot what I was talking about. The test. Okay. In order to do this, you guys, I have to switch tabs. So that means it's going to take a minute. So if you make any comments, I won't see them for a few minutes because I'm going to switch tabs over. Jamie, can I briefly review about the movements of supply and demand? Okay. Please put your bookshelves a test question. Harry Potter. Okay. So looking at the test, you need to know monopsonistic markets versus perfectly competitive labor markets. Who pays higher wages? Who hires more workers? How do they compare to each other? This question is price, wage, only labor, they're earning a profit. Oh, okay, so this is just about profit in a perfectly competitive market, labor market, perfectly competitive labor market, and the marginal product of labor. All right. Number of workers. Oh, marginal physical product, MPP. So that's taking it back to productivity, which again, you mastered in Unit 3, and this is Unit 5. So I do expect you to know this. How do you find MPP? What's the formula? All right. Number 4, which is following demand for apples? Oh, derived demand. Do you know what derived demand is and why it's important? Number 5, the definition of MRP. Next, suppose the wage rate for Oh, okay. So what are the trends with wage rates? Supply and demand shifts. If wage rate goes up or wage rate goes down, did supply or demand shift to the right or to the left, right or the left? I mean, when in doubt, graph it out. You should be able to figure that out. All right. Least cost, the least cost formula. Okay. So this is looking for the least cost combination for spending on labor and capital. That formula is on the link I put at the top of the chat in my comment. All right. Margin product. What cost is minimizing? Oh, cost minimization. Oh, someone's texting me. Who's texting me? Oh, you guys, it's Caroline. She just had the play tonight. So, yeah. Okay. Hi, Caroline, when you watch this later. Okay. Number 9. I'm on 9. Number 9 should be easy if you paid attention to today's practice questions. I'm not even going to go into more detail because it's so simple. What is the MRC curve or MFC curve, whatever you want to call it? So that's that question. 11. Cost minimization. Again, how do you find cost minimization? This is talking about the gap in wages. So that just comes back to a graph. Can you graph it? Can you not graph it? Can you graph a change in wages? That means jot out a supply MFC demand MRP graph, find equilibrium, and figure out what has to change for wage rates to go up or down in on either side. Okay. 13. I'm on 13 now. Derived demand. 13 is derived demand. Again, the concept, not the answer. 14 is a graph just like the FRQ we did in class today. Number 14, the graph looks similar to that. Not the same numbers, same kind of graph. And it's asking you, how many do they hire? How much do they pay? You have to know how to read a monopsonistic graph. 15 is a change in demand. What happens to the market? Number 16, again, a graph. Oh, that's the FRQ. I'm just gonna skip that one right now and go on to 17. Just so you know, the FRQ, to save time for class tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out my Christmas tree's crooked. To save time, instead of having you all draw the graph, I'm giving you the graph and asking you questions about it. I just feel like it's the best use of my minutes in class. 17 is a shift in the supply curve. 18 is demand curve for labor. How is it derived? Number 19, derived demand, the definition again. 20 is another graph, and it's asking about interpretation of the graph. 21. Oh, they're profit maximizing. So if they're profit maximizing, what does that mean? And finally, 22. Oh, 22 is hard because it's not a graph, it's a table. Okay. And it gives you a table and you have to find MRP from the table. So you have to know how to do that. All right, I'm going to close that test out so I'm not looking at it again. All right, so now I just went through the whole test with you guys, 22 questions. So I'm going to come back and try and scroll through my comments. So give me a second to read through what you guys write. All right. Shifts versus movement. It's going to be a very long night. Brian, don't say that. Can we use our packets on our test? No resources for the test. How do you find MRP of labor? You're looking at the change in marginal revenue with every additional unit you hire. So if I hire another person, how much did my revenue change? All right. What is derived demand? No, you cannot use a calculator. AP says no calculators. All the math can be done in your head. Derived demand is the demand for labor. And the reason it's derived demand, I went over this on the first day, is because businesses derive their demand for labor from the demand for their product. So when they're really busy or demand for their product is high, they need more workers. But when they have no demand for their product, they don't need their workers. So they dismiss them. And the example I gave you guys back last week was when you work for a restaurant and, for example, it's really, really busy, your manager will call you to come in. And so you get called in even though you had the day off because they were busy. Or if you're at work and it's really, really slow, they cut you and they send you home because they no longer need you. So their demand for your labor is derived directly from other people's demand for their product. And this happens as well in hospitals. Doctors and nurses are on call, and if they get busy, they call them in to work, and if they don't, they don't. So that's how that works. MPP, Jamie, marginal physical product is the change in output. Physical product means produced units, what is produced, okay? And so if I'm looking at marginal physical product, I'm looking at how many additional units were actually created with every additional employee. Roberto, I love you all. I would do anything for you guys. I genuinely love my job. How do you find it? Well, marginal honey is the change in. So change in output. I can't give you more. If I say more, Jamie, it's going to give you the answer to the test question. Like I can't. Although I closed it, so I don't even remember what the question was now. Okay, I'm worried I missed a comment somewhere. I think I did. Let me go back. Give me a second. Shifts versus movement. Okay, so shifts of the curve are when the entire demand curve moves to the right, or the entire demand curve will move to the left. Okay, right is more, left is less. I don't know if this flips me or not. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. So to go to the left means less, that's a decrease. And to go to the right means more, that would be an increase. So when we are looking at our, let's say, demand curve, our MRP curve, demand will shift to the right when we need more workers. Demand shifts to the left when we need fewer workers, because this is the labor market. If MRP is increasing, demand shifts to the right. If MRP is decreasing, demand shifts to the left. Also, if demand shifts to the right, MRP must be increasing. And if demand shifts to the left, MRP must be decreasing, because in a factor market, MRP equals demand. Now, shifts of the supply curve. You have to remember that the supply curve is actually, okay, the supply curve is your labor. It's the number of people you have willing and able to work. So the supply curve doesn't just shift for no reason. All right. In order to shift the supply curve, you need to have either more workers or fewer workers. More workers mean we either have more immigrants, a baby boom, a population increase, or if they want to be specific, let's say we're going to talk about economists. All right, in order to increase the supply of economists in the United States, we need to have more people graduating with a degree in economics. Okay, that would increase the supply of economists. A decrease in supply means that either something happened to our population to cause our actual population to shrink, like a famine or a war, or if they want to talk about something specific, like a decrease, let's say, in the number of accountants, it means fewer people are graduating with a degree in accounting. That would actually cause us to shift to the left. But if we're shifting a supply curve in a labor market, our actual population of employees is changing. Okay. It doesn't just mean fewer. All right. Because fewer is just a slide or a movement along the curve. That just means our quantity went down. If we're talking about a shift in the supply curve, I'm talking about the whole population had to change for some reason. Okay. So, Jamie, let me know if that was a good or not so good answer because I want to make sure you're clear. Brian, the main difference between a monopoly and a monopsonist. Well, a monopoly is a seller of a product. A monopsonist is a hirer of labor. They would both be a firm in an imperfect market structure, but a monopoly is selling a product and a monopsonist is hiring workers. Now, you can be both. You can be a monopsonist and a monopoly, but you could also be a perfectly competitive labor market and a monopoly in the product market. You could be a monopsonist in the labor market and perfectly competitive in the product market. You could be perfectly competitive in both markets or a monopoly and a monopsonist in both markets. So there's 4 different combinations there that you could make with those characteristics. But it just means a different market. So a monopsonist is the hiring and firing, the boss man market, and a monopoly is the buying and selling of your product. So it's just the different side of the circular flow model. Too many brain cells. Yeah, no. It's not too many. You got this. I promise, you guys. I know it sounds crazy, but this is really an easy unit. It's really, really easy. I promise. Because aside from the definition of derived demand, you have done nothing brand spanking new. Everything in this unit you have done before in some capacity. It just might be tweaked. You guys, don't sad face me. Don't do that. Don't feel bad, Jan. Everybody did. Second hour, 6 out of 12 was the high score. So many terms, though. Hey, Roberto. But you weren't in second hour. You were in fourth hour, I think. Jamie, stop with the sad faces. You guys are killing me. Ooh. Ooh. You guys, it's 11:15. I was going to go to bed at 10:30. This is just not working well. The 12 of you that are hanging out with me here at 11 o'clock at night. Oh, it's 11:11. Make a wish. Middle schoolers. A for effort. Ada. No. I told you guys today made no difference for points. You guys are hilarious. Oh my God, you cracked me up. Oh, Assad, don't make that wish. It won't come true. Okay. So, okay. All right. I was waiting on Miss Elder to text me back, and she has not. Are any of you, any of my 12 people on this right now, friends with any football players? Anybody? Or friends with a cheerleader? All right. Text them. Just text Jesse. You text Jesse. I want to know what color they are wearing tomorrow. Confirm it for me right now. Opportunity for extra credit. It's black. Like Miss Kelly said, extra credit. Everybody text Jesse. Black uniforms. Haley, are you confirming that? 100%? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Haley said it's all black. So my charge to the 11 of you I have left, because I lost someone, is that we need to shut down the whiteout rumor and confirm that it's a blackout rumor. Anyone who wears black tomorrow, wear your senior crowns, wear your spirit gear, wear your whatever, I'll give you extra credit on the test. Dress in black. It's still a whiteout. It's not a whiteout. No, athletics is doing a blackout. I promise you athletics is doing a blackout. Miss Elder is the athletic director, and she texted me, it's a blackout. Can we wear black and get extra credit? Watch, hold on. Cancel, okay. Cancel. All right, here. All right, I'm gonna try and see if you can read this. I don't know if you can. All right, it says, we're doing a blackout. There you go. All right. I want to see you in spirit gear tomorrow. Bronco attire, senior crowns, whatever. To class, yes, to class. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wear your senior shirt or a Bronco shirt or some sort of school shirt, school spirit attire. And then, period two. Yeah. Pink, but I have to wear pink. Why do you have to wear pink? What's pink? Is SGA doing pink? What's the dress-up day for theater? Wait, Brian says, wait. I'm confused. I'm so confused. Yeah, but what's the spirit day? Jamie, you're confusing me. Any black shirt, yeah. Just wear black. Any black shirt. Whatever you want. Well, your senior class shirt is black. Yes, Roberto, unless you have questions. Oh. You can wear your NHS shirt, that's also black. Good night, Roberto. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. Okay. The beauty in that, Jamie, is you don't take a midterm in my class. You only take a final. Good luck, Brian. The most helpful thing you can do, you guys, is that packet I copied and I gave you. That packet with the practice math questions, that'll be very happy. Oh, I know what you mean, Jamie. I was just being funny. Okay, I think we're good. All right, I think that's going to be it because I'm not getting any new questions. So, get some sleep. Not likely. I'm in the middle of a book, you guys. I want to read my book. Look, I'm going to show you. See? Oh, you can't read anything. You can't see, but there's words there. So that's what I'm trying to read in my book. You guys go to sleep. Stop doing econ. All right. Have a good night, guys. I will talk to you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Wear black. Bronco attire. Pass it on. All right. Good night, guys.